Let's head to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Hey, Dave, love the show. So Joe Batonio's thinking about retiring. Myles Garrett once gone. Nick Chubb's not coming back. So my thing is this. When you start losing your cornerstone pieces and you stop opting to bring them back, or they want to be traded because of things you're not doing, I think it's time for the people in charge of the people in charge to say it's time for you to go. You know, Nick Chubb may not be running back one next year, but I would rather have him as a backup than Jerome Ford or anybody they brought in. Nick Chubb is still better than the running backs on the roster. Myles Garrett wants to leave. Denzel said if Garrett goes, he might want to go. Andrew Berry doesn't have a clue, man. It's time for Cleveland to wake up and realize that you're letting the cornerstone players go because you wanted to have Deshaun Watson. He ruined your payroll. Andrew Berry's got to go.
As always, appreciate all the voicemails. So, obviously, Batonio's back. Nick Chubb wants to be back. The question is, and there's nothing even remotely heinous about them saying, go out and see what you are worth. It's more of a sign of respect that they are telling Nick Chubb to go do that.
Yeah, well, there's a couple things with that. Look, and if you remember when this regime got here, and I believe it was year 2, they went through the same type of thing with Jarvis Landry. And the last thing you want to do as a franchise is talk to a player that you have a long-standing relationship with. Granted, Landry's relationship was mostly with the past, obviously, front office and coaching staff. But you don't want to start the conversation off and say, 1 year, $3 million. Because now all of a sudden you may have disrespected somebody, A, that you would still like to have in the fold, and B, somebody that has been a good, somewhat soldier for your franchise. In the message, he said that, Nick Chubb was a foundational piece of the Cleveland Browns. Nick Chubb hasn't been a foundational piece of the Cleveland Browns since 2022. He was injured extremely early in 2023, 2024. We all know he was not himself. The problem the Browns have is, and you hit on this earlier, Dave, this is a tremendously deep running back class. So if you are a free agent running back right now, you're not in a good spot. You really aren't. You have no control. You're probably going to take whatever offers come your way because you know what? I can get a running back in round 1. I can get a running back in round 2, round 3, round 4, round 5. And most of those running backs will be 7 or 8 years younger than Nick Chubb. This is, hey, Nick, if you want to hear it honestly, go out there because we don't know what your market is worth. And look, I don't agree very often with Tony Grossi, so let's just actually put an asterisk to this one. I'm not sure what the market is. And part of the market and the problem is none of us truly know where Nick Chubb is going to be September, October, November, December of 2025. But this decision essentially has to be made here in March. So we don't know. Obviously, Nick is going to continue to rehab. He's going to continue to work out. Maybe he does get more back, which is all viable. But I have to make a decision now on where I think he is going to be in 5 or 6 months from now. That is a really difficult thing to do. And the other thing is, what do we do if we sign Nick Chubb, he's on this roster, and Jerome Ford's playing better than him? The rookie running back we drafted is playing better than him. Now you've got a fan base going, well, I don't know why Nick Chubb isn't playing. It's a really, really difficult spot. And I've tried to tell people, this is a conversation nobody wanted to have, but it was going to be time to have it. It's running back longevity. It's different. Look, nobody expects Nick to play 12 years. It's rare for a guy like Joe Batonio on the inside on line to play 12 years. Myles is still the absolute best edge defender in the game. So these are different conversations. Look, this is not a knock on Nick Chubb. Everything he has done here has been incredible. And again, yes, as far as a player within the community, within the locker room, representing the franchise, aces, 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 aces. But this is a decision right now that you were basing on the future. And look, if you just say, do you want said 29-year-old running back, just pay him this, that, and the other thing, everybody's going to tell you no. But once you put Nick Chubb's name onto it, obviously for this fan base, it's going to mean something, and rightfully so. But business is business. He's a 29-year-old running back. He's had 2 catastrophic injuries. What we saw of him in 2024, we were not sure where he was or where he could get to. Look, you want to knock Andrew Berry. I get it. And look, there are things I will knock as well. This is one I can't knock. And even Tony Grossi said, we have no idea what the market value is for Nick Chubb. And Tony Grossi said, there may not be a market for him at all.